Good morning. This is the Be the Solution podcast with Maria Quattrone and my guest, Katrina Amurao. Welcome, Katrina.
Thank you, Maria.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with one line, but look how far you've come.
Welcome, Katrina. I'm so happy to have you on this morning.
Thank you, Maria. I'm so excited to be here.
Great to see you. You are a powerhouse in the Metro Vancouver area, and we want to know your story.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. My story. Well, where do I start? Well, my story, personal story. I mean, I migrated to Canada 22 years ago with my family. My parents brought us here without knowing what to expect. We didn't know anybody really. Practically, we have one relative here, and my parents left us here I was 17, so I kind of telling you how old I am. I was 17, and they had a business in the Philippines. We didn't want to go back, so we stayed here with my two younger brothers, and from there I became a realtor because I listened to my mom's advice. Finally, I'm hard-headed. I'm the eldest, and I'm the only girl. And
so wait. You're 17. Your mom and dad are like, "I'm going back to the Philippines.
Yes,
We're going to keep our business." So you're 17, and you have your brothers.
yes,
Sister, and how old are they?
I have three brothers, and I have a 15 at that time, and he was 15, and a 10-year-old, and then our youngest one went back with them. He was one at that time.
Okay, so it was the three of you.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Well, my grandma was here, but she was working in a different city, so she would visit us and she would stay with us on weekends.
Wow. So you were responsible for your two brothers?
Yeah, I would say well, I was responsible, but between the three of us, we're all responsible.
Well, that was pretty young when your parents left. And so when did you get your real estate license?
I was 23.
You were 23. So you graduated high school, and then what?
I went to school here. I got a job. While I got a job, I took business. Why I didn't want to go back to the Philippines, because in the Philippines, my parents wanted me to become a doctor, and I don't like blood. So here I get to do what I wanted to do, and I took business, and I started real estate at 23. I took business, and then I had my insurance course. I had the license to become an insurance agent. I was too young to be. In my mind, it wasn't my passion, because I kind of had that limiting belief that I was too young to be an insurance agent. But I'm not too young to be a realtor. So yeah, so that's where it started. My mom, I was at that cross point. Well, my parents came back after 2 years in the Philippines. They came back, and we all moved to Surrey, which is where we live now. And I finally listened to what my mom has to say and say, why don't you try real estate? So I did, and there's no looking back since.
Why did she think that'd be a good career for you?
I love solving problems. I love figuring out solutions. I love helping people. I've been entrepreneurial since I was a child. My mom, I got it from my mom, where she had businesses. She owned businesses. And so as a child, I've always been entrepreneurial. And somehow when I was taking the real estate course, I really enjoyed the idea of having to figure out a solution. I mean, we're in Read the Solution, but figure out a solution for a family. I love having to I realize how I like to help people find their next home, and figure out a way to do it, and also do it in a way that would help them be financially well. I mean, real estate is the way to really build your wealth, right? So I figured that out early on while I was taking the course, and then getting to know people. And yeah, I love the whole thing. I don't know, I didn't know much about houses. I mean, where I came from, it's a different structure to where we live now. I mean, we're in a first world country, and I didn't know about houses. I didn't know. I don't like interior decoration is not my thing. So most people, when you ask them, why do you like real estate? Oh, I love showing houses. I love looking at houses. I love interior decoration, and I love figure out, different places. But for me, it's the solution of like helping families find a place that they can call their own, and also help them with their financial well-being.
I love that. I feel the same way as well. That's, when we decided, well, what should we call the show, the podcast? And I said, well, we solve problems. We're the solution. And so be the solution. And I never really cared that much about the house itself, meaning it doesn't matter. It's a structure. That structure
Yeah.
can be taken down and a new structure can be put up, right? So the
Exactly.
house is just what you that's the monetary thing that's taking place, but it's the home that the person creates, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And so that's where you get the satisfaction of serving families so they can build that home
Hmm.
together. And I
Yeah.
think that's really important. I love the fact that you're entrepreneurial, and it started. Most people I talk to that are entrepreneurial started as a little kid because either they were just it or they watched their family. So
Mhm.
your mom had a lot of different businesses. What kind of businesses did she have, and what did you learn from that?
Well, my parents, my mom and dad. My dad was a doctor in the Philippines, and when we moved here,
Ah,
he stayed
which
in the medical field. But my mom owned a pharmacy. She had a grains trading business. She had a vehicle trading business. She had pretty much every a lot of businesses. She had a pizza Hut. They when we left, they opened up a restaurant. So as a child, I kind of like got I gravitated towards that. She would help me buy, because we live in a small town, and she would buy, like, at that time stationaries were so popular, and like different stationaries with, like, scents in it. So she would bring them home, and I'd sell them in like retail to my
oh
classmates. And I also, she bought me, when in the Philippines, when the computer was new, she bought me a Mac. And we would create little business cards for people. And so those things that I did, I like the idea of being able to do something and create more from it. So I think that's what I like about it. And I really enjoy. I even sold in our front, on the street, my in front of our house. My mom would set up a stall and sold like juice. Like, she would create a big juice in like lemonade, a lemonade stand, the
yes,
Philippine way.
I love
Yeah,
it.
lemonade stand. Yeah,
So we have that in common. The lemonade stand. I had lemonade and popcorn. People
yeah.
say, "Oh," they said the Jiffy Pop. I said the microwave. I said no, the popcorn that you put in the big pot and you put the oil on the bottom and then you put all the kernels in. That's the old school popcorn, right?
Yeah. not the
But
not
what did that cost? It cost like, I don't even know, maybe 50 cents to make a massive thing of popcorn that I
Mhm.
sold each little bag for probably a quarter. I'm going back into the 70s now, long
Yeah.
time ago. Anyway, so it's interesting because most of the people um, that are entrepreneurs have started when they're little and they had a dream. They didn't know 100% yet, but they knew they liked helping other people be
Mhm.
successful and providing them solutions. So now you're 23, you're a real estate agent. Let me guess, you became successful overnight, Katrina.
Overnight,
Yeah.
no, no. Like, it was it's a journey. Now, been in the business for 16 years now. And that was a lot. I mean, I can't believe it's been 16 years. It's some. Yesterday, I went back to the office because we're expanding our office. We're renovating. I'm in the same office as when I started. I've been
Wow.
there since day one at Remax, and it's we. When I walked in there the very first time, I was the youngest. I was 23, but I was the only one under 30. I was among a handful female. The average age of a realtor in our office at that time was about, I think it was 55. So, and I was among a small number of female realtors in the office. And most of the female realtors in the office were married to a realtor in the office. So, I was so young, and I felt like I keep telling them I felt like I'm the princess because I was the only young one and I'm female, and everyone treated me like that I'm their granddaughter or their daughter. So it was a journey. I was lucky to be surrounded by an awesome management. Our office is very supportive, and they all just were very supportive. We're a family there, and it was they're always just cheering me on. So that journey really, it started then. Yes, I actually did pretty good on my first year. I helped 38 families at that time by myself. I got into coaching, like I had a coach 3 months into the business.
So
Um,
38 families, just so everybody that's listening to this in your first year, is a lot of families. Katrina, we have a very similar story. I started at the same time, except I'm older than you are, 16 years, and helped around the same amount of families, and that's a lot of people to help by yourself.
mhm.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
people to help by yourself. And so you're on this journey. How did you decide that you wanted to grow from there?
I think it was really, for me, it was a progression. I didn't even think that I always wanted to grow. For, of course, I guess one of the things that I had in me that I luckily have is that I dream big. I want, like, I wrote down, I remember writing it down that my goal, okay, in the first 5 years, I'd help 100 families in 1 year. Well, that of course didn't happen right away. But, and then I said, after 10 years, I'll own my own brokerage without knowing what it takes to own a brokerage. So, I just like the idea of being able to grow and be successful. And it's not, of course, it didn't turn out that way. We don't own a brokerage. We have a team as a couple, but we wanted to just keep growing. To me, that's the thing, growth. I always wanted to improve. And that same year, I hired my first assistant. Summer of that year. That time, Neil, my husband now, it was my boyfriend, and I hired his sister to be my part-time assistant. And a few months later, before I celebrated my first year anniversary, I hired my full-time assistant. And after that, I just want to keep on helping more families because I know that I love what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it. And now it's gone up to the point that I can only help so many families if I help other people do what I do. So then as a group we can help more families because I only have 24 hours in a day, right? So
That's right. You said something. You hired your first coach. What, you were only in the business for a few months?
yes, 3 months. Yes, so someone told me, and see, this the beauty about being new. And I had a lot of insecurities. I've only been in the country at that time for 6 years, so I have this accent, and I just want to grow. I just want to get over my insecurities. And one of the things that someone told me is, call this coach. At that time, it was Richard Robbins. He's a Canadian realtor, Canadian coach, and he says, check this out. And so I went on, and then I just wanted to be successful, and I didn't want to have any reason not to be successful. I said, what would it take for me to be successful? And I mean, I didn't have money. I actually became, before I became a realtor, I opened up a line of credit, $10,000 line of credit. And that's like, that's all I had. I mean, I didn't have savings. That's the thing with me. It's like financially, I didn't have money. I didn't have savings. I finished school. I would just, I didn't really think about it. And yeah, I took coaching. And ever since, I've never had a time where we didn't have a coach. So I believe that if I want to be successful, I need someone to help me be successful and help me look at my business from a different angle. Because we're so involved with doing our day-to-day activity that sometimes we cannot see everything. Like we're kind of like so focused, right? Or we need someone to kind of like direct us. Okay, you're going the wrong direction, right? So I believed in that, and I also just didn't want anything to get in the way of me being successful. So I wanted to guarantee that if I can, it's not a magic pill, but that's one way that I did it, is I didn't hesitate to spend money on myself to grow and to have someone help me navigate through it's so different, right? Like, I mean, it's real estate through the business, and help me. It also shortened my learning curve, as I was an individual, and having someone kind of mentor me and guide me through it helped me help me shorten that learning curve, help me build the foundation that I needed to take my business to the next level.
Ain't that the truth?
Hmm.
You look at all the greatest athletes in the world and singers and Broadway performers and actresses. Everybody that's successful has not only one coach, two coaches, three coaches, however many they need for, whatever level they're at. So I don't know really any very successful people that don't have. That's not true. I do actually know a few that
Hmm.
don't have, then they said they're uncoachable.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, right?
Yeah.
That's okay too. Um, one of the things I'm listening to you, and I feel your passion, and I feel how, loving and caring and generous you are. And I want to ask you this question, because this has been a challenge for me, and maybe I don't know for you, but how do you manage your ambition?
How do I manage my ambition?
Hmm.
I actually, I'm Catholic, and I'm very involved in my church. I love, supporting my church, and I learned to surrender. I learned to, I believe, for me, I believe that God planted a seed in my heart as to where He wants me to be. And in my heart, I just follow through. Well, today I wake up. Actually, when you ask me, what are we going to talk about? Let's go with the flow, right? So I just believe that God has a plan, and I'll just keep doing my best and go. And whatever happens, whatever that is in my heart, what I want, what my dreams are, as long as it's not it's coming from a position of I want to be a good person and help other people. That I just feel that, what I want to build a team, to grow, and to help so many families is something that it's according to what is meant to be. I don't know if that answered your question, but I just base it on, I don't want to start preaching. uh,
No, it actually it did, and it's important. It's an important question, I think, because a lot of people look at themselves and they'll say, "Well, I should be there," like not where they are, or and they get mad, right? And they're angry, and it's out of fear. And I was that person before, years ago, and I surrendered to, you are where you're supposed to be at this time in life, and that I'm blessed and grateful for this journey that I'm on, and that I know that just every day getting up and working on just being the best version of myself I can for today is all I can do. And
exactly.
and I do believe in God, and I'm also Catholic, and I don't talk about that a lot, but I think about it a lot. It's
Hmm.
private, more private to me. Um just because I don't know why, but
Yeah,
just because.
yeah.
And I think because, I do know a little bit why. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. And then I kind of was against it for a minute because it was too much.
Hmm.
And I needed a breather. And then I need to be able to come back to that when I was ready to come back. So that is more of the reason why then, and not,
Mm.
but it's interesting because, I talk when you're talking to a lot of people, and they're very frustrated about their situation. And I said, listen, the only person that can change anything is you. Nobody else. And God, but I'm saying, like, we are in control of our destiny, of either taking action or not taking action, and surrendering to let go. And that's where the power lies, right? I wrote
Yeah.
about that this morning. Just not, people can think, they probably think this of me or that of me. And I'm sure you kind of sometimes but it doesn't matter. I gave up on worrying about what everybody else thinks a long time ago. So
Yeah. As soon as I have let go, as soon as I stop worrying about what other people will say, as soon as I just worried about did I do my best, as soon as I just said to myself, you know what? You there are things that are beyond your control. There are things that's within your control, and you only worry with what's within your control, and you let it be. Whatever happens. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen? And yeah, be appreciative of what I have. What I was like, we appreciate what we have. We're grateful, and you know what? Yes, there's so much more we can do, but instead of worrying about that, about thinking, well, I should be here. Well, I'm here now. I'm going to make the most out of it. I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to take the next step to get to where I want to go. And surrendering and just letting be. They were like, we were talking about how people are scared to get vaccinated, and should I not? And I said, make a decision, stick with it, and whatever happens happens. And the other part is, if it's my time, it's my time. My husband doesn't like it when I said, well, you know what, if I die today, I die today. I can die in peace knowing that I did my best. I didn't just wait and let things happen. I did my best. I cannot control what could happen. So, and I can worry about too many different factors. That's the thing with me. That's the one, I think that's one of the other reasons why, you know, I I enjoy what I do, and I'm so willing to just try different things and go and move forward, and let's go. What's the worst thing that could happen? I start over. I'm not scared to start over. So I'm not worried about, of course, there are still times where I worry about, oh, they might think this of me. And then I remind myself, hello, it doesn't matter what they think of you. That wouldn't feed you. So
that's
that's
right.
that's the approach that I take.
That's right. So you've been really busy the last year or so. You've had a lot of success, Katrina and the team.
Thank
And
you.
so I want to talk a little bit about that. And what do you attribute that to? What what changes did you make? Because you're almost basically you're going to be doubling your business, or and more this year.
It's a progression. Yes, we are on track to double our business. I couldn't believe that that's the case. It's a progression. It was a lot of things that kind of piled up. It's like I was saying, it's snowballing.
That's
I,
right.
I would attribute it to this all turned. I took a program, and it's all within me. That's like when I started it, and I share this again, I'm gonna go like it's more of my spiritual journey. When I let go, and when I decided to have God as the center of my life, and everything that I do is just basically to in that it's I didn't just section. I used to section my life.
Hmm.
This is my
What do
spiritual
you
life. This is my, I look at it as a pie,
Okay.
and every aspect of my life is, a pie, as a section, a piece of the pie. So this is my work life, this is my family life, this is my spiritual life. On Sundays, this is I'm with you, God. But I changed that. I took a course and then I changed that and I put a cross right in the pie. There's still the pie. And I call the spiritual side a spiritual growth. And then I put a cross right in the middle, because everything that I do is based on my faith, on my belief in God. And I do what I do because I know God brought people to me because he trusts me to take care of these people. That's one thing. And then from there, it developed in me to not worry about other people, because God is the center of my life. It's not other people. It's not what other people will say. So that's the start. About 4 or 5 years ago, it was a journey. I learned to appreciate myself. And then this last year, we met John, our coach, and then we learned to grow the business in a way, scaling the business, most people would say. And we learned to let go a little bit of, like, I'm the only one who can do this. I'm the only one who can serve my clients the way I want to serve my clients. So we let go of that. And through progression, we had different coaches. We had another coach, local coach, his name's Keith. And, from that to working with John, we're now, every year we pretty much have doubled our business. And this year it's people, it's letting go, it's teaching other people how to take care of other people. And so, once we did that, that's where, because like I said, we only have 24 hours in a day. I can only help so many families, and having other people in our business to work with, we're able to do that. We're able to double the business, and also we not only impacted our clients' lives, but also our team members' lives and their families. So being able to do that, I think, did I answer that question? I kind of can ramble sometimes.
You're not rambling. There's no rambling.
Thanks.
That's how it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we basically doing all that. It started by just discovering within me and letting go, surrendering, and not worrying about what other people will say.
So you took a course, you said, about 5 years ago. What was that?
It's called Discover Discipleship. It's a church. It's a course at the church. Every week.
Oh, Discover Discipleship.
Yeah, Discover Discipleship. It's just learning to have, instead of having that, just sectioning my life, it's just having God as the center of my life. And it's easier to say. A lot of people would say, like, hey, God, make God the center of your marriage and everything will be okay. Make God the center of your life. But it's a progression. It's really in my heart, just saying, knowing, and anywhere, anytime I'm at, it's just remembering that knowing what my purpose is. And really, to me, that's why I'm not scared. I'm not scared if it's my time. It's my time, because I'm more, for me, like, I believe in heaven, and I'm looking forward to just having an impact in people's lives here, so then I can go to heaven, I hope.
I'm sure you'll be going to heaven, Katrina. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the side of me that, I know it's like people kind of like, I talk about my faith a lot, and I don't just say it. It's just, for me, it's for me to be able to inspire others. That, to me, that's really what turned things around.
Wow, that's so inspiring.
Thank you.
So inspiring. So Neil was your boyfriend.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
Neil's your husband.
Yes.
His partner.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that all come together?
Wow, that's, again, first year he was working. We were young. I mean, early 20s. He was working at a manufacturing company, and it was at a transition. He needed to find another job, and then it's like, well, I'm so busy. Well, why don't you take the course? And then at that time, a lot of people was telling me, no, don't work with your boyfriend. That's going to ruin the relationship. A lot of relationships break down because of work, competition. And even imagine they're saying, you work with your boyfriend like, pretty much every day. Like, how is that? Um, but at that time, my coach, Cynthia, she says, well, who else is best to help you than a person who cares about you? Yes, a lot of things can go wrong, but if you set boundaries, then you're okay, because you'll be okay. And if you don't try it, you won't know, right? So I took that advice. He finished the program, he finished the course, he got licensed as a realtor. We worked together. We decided what we're going to do is he's going to work mainly with buyers and I'm going to work mainly with sellers. So that's what we did for several years. And we have our assistant already at that time. So, and our full-time assistant from since then is still our full-time. She's now our transaction coordinator now, 16 years later, or
Wow.
15. So she's still with us. And basically that's how we did. And of course, it's not easy. People think, oh, look at that, look at them. Isn't it so nice? You guys work together. There's the pros and cons, right? There's the beauty. Like we do not have any other life other than real estate. And so it's so hard for us to draw that boundary. At that time, we talked about 7:30 at night. We're not going to talk about real estate anymore.
How's that work out?
Well, 12, I didn't sleep until midnight, and we were talking about real estate. And when we catch ourselves like, oh, let's not talk about real estate, but we have no other things to talk about. Well, we have our kids. We talked about our kids. And then we kind of look back into real estate. So
I know. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard to draw, because this is our life. This is our life. This is all we do. 16 years in my life, 15 in his life. This is what we've done majority of our life. And our kids, they were born into it, right? So now that we're like, it's just really being able to.
You have 3 more people to add to your team.
Oh yeah, no, they're in training. They would go to school with their like Katrina in the team jackets, and like they're our biggest cheerleaders, and it's just so funny. But they're in training. They know. They're used to it, because in the car, sometimes people wouldn't even know that I have 3 kids in the car, because I am working, and they know how to be quiet. They know not to, throughout this conversation, my son has gone around, and they know to just leave me notes if they need something. So they're used to it. They actually know, and they would even say, because our tagline is, we want to we are realtors making a positive impact in our community, and they just know that. They just know that. So it's
I
so
love
fun.
that.
Yeah,
that's fun. So now it's the assistant and you and Neil, and then what happens after that?
Well, we've had back in 2009-ish, we thought, okay, well, why don't we grow our team? Hired 2 buyers agents. Well, we hired 2 additional buyers agents, but of course, I don't think we were ready at that time. We tried. We weren't ready, business wise, marketing wise. We weren't mature yet to be in a team, to have a team. So we kept going, switch coaches. I've kind of I feel that every 5 years, I hit a certain level of like, okay, I think I've maximized my potential in this coaching system. Let's move on to the next one. So I found another coaching company to work with, and I was with them for another 5 years. We also
real estate coach.
Yeah, real estate coach. So that was Brian Buffini.
Oh, Buffini.
Yeah, Buffini. I was in the system for 5 years, and again, we tried to go into a team system. Again, we're still trying to also discover ourselves, right? And during that time, we got married, and again, still trying to prove ourselves. So that's one thing, actually, trying to prove ourselves. That was what actually made it hard, or because we had to prove ourselves, because we didn't believe really in ourselves. We think we did. We thought we did. But until we started just say, you know what you're doing your best, you're always making sure everything's taken care of, and you're always going the extra mile, you're okay. As soon as we turned that and learned learned that about ourselves, that's when we really matured. We switch coach now. We switch coach again, and after every 5 years, that's our progression. Every 5 years, and we basically have seen as a couple, we grew, we matured together. We've had our ups and downs, so that's normal. It's just our approach of not giving up on each other and not giving up on ourselves, and just keep going, and knowing that there's always a challenge, but every challenge, like every setback, it's a setup for a comeback, right? So we just kept going. As a couple working together, we grew the team. We attempted to grow the team again in 2016. We worked with a couple of other agents, and they, again, didn't work out. We're willing to try things. That's the thing. We want to keep trying different things. And if it doesn't work, you just go a different path, So we just learned that. And we then realized at that time we got to get over ourselves and start marketing ourselves. We actually started marketing ourselves. We wrapped our vehicle, our minivan. We had a minivan. We wrapped it with my face and his face on it and drove around town. And that was it. That's how we kind of grew the team, by first growing ourselves and making sure that we have enough for ourselves. So then we're overflowing with leads that we can pass on to other people, other realtors.
So that was the first time you really started to brand yourselves, when you wrapped the vehicle?
When we wrapped the vehicle. But there's a story behind that.
Yeah.
I've been doing it by then. I've been doing it for about 10 years. And a newer guy in town came, and he kind of like marketed himself all over. And it didn't bother me, because I'm like, well, I've been in the business 10 years. I'm pretty successful. I'm decent. We were doing pretty good. It was this level of, we were helping on average about 50 families a year, 50 to 60 families. We were around that. And I had a client, and I've been nurturing them for 3 years. They've come to my events. I've had like client appreciation events. I've popped by. I'm doing all that. And then they interviewed me, and I thought, okay, let's go list your place. We've known each other for 3 years. You were referred to me originally. They work with the other guy. And they said, he's all over the place. He's like, he has so many bus benches and shelters. He must be really good. I mean, I like what you said, but he must be better, because he has all these bus shelters and, advertising. And I'm like, well, I spend my money on making sure I take great care of my clients. And they're like, Katrina, we know you're good. We know you're nice. We know you're going to do a good job. But he's all over the place, so he must be better. That broke my heart. And I thought, it's perception. It's people's perception of what I'm able and capable of doing. So I'm no longer going to be a secret agent. I was so brokenhearted. Thanks to that fellow, I said to Neil, we decided we're going to go out there. We're not going to be embarrassed. We're not going to be shy about being realtors. I don't want to sound salesy. We're not that people. We care. We wrapped the vehicle. We took a few bus shelters, like three bus shelters, and just started branding. Everything's about Katrina and the team. So everything we do, like, that's why we wear our gears, and we marketed, and we said, this is what we are. And yeah, that was the time that we had recognition, and people started thinking, well, we became more referable, because we already had a lot of referral business, but we became more referable because it added to that credibility. Because again, perception, the more people see you, the more people perceive that you're good at what you do, right? So we
Sure. If you're able to spend money in advertising and marketing, you have to have made that money. Well, most likely, right? Bring that income in to then spend it, because right now you have to be everywhere. You have to be everywhere. And people say, well, how did you hear? I mean, the days of attribution are I think kind of gone, to really figure out where
Mhm.
exactly that opportunity came from, right? But you have to be everywhere. So you're on the bus you're on the bus shelters and the vehicle's wrapped,
Yeah.
and then what?
Well, and then like I said, we became more referable, and us wrapping the vehicle didn't also come with, it wasn't easy. There's like, okay, we want to do that, but then there's so many other ways that get in the way.
Like
Things
what?
can, yeah, it's like, okay, well, now we wrap the vehicle. Oh, people don't want you to park your car in their front driveway because I don't want my neighbors knowing I'm gonna sell. So there's other things that came, that's like, we call it, like, our coach at that time, he says, gremlin door number 2 is this, right? So we wrapped the vehicle, we overcame that, like, all those challenges that came with it, and having to worry about, well, I don't want to drive the car and people know who I am. I kind of need it, and I need to drive safe. Well, you have to drive safe anyways. And so I drive safe, I wrap the vehicle, and then we got more recognized, and then we got over ourselves again. We Part of it is getting over ourselves, not worrying about what other people would say. And I drive around with it, and I think it snowballed from there. We hired our first buyer's agent because we needed more help, and then we hired our second team member, and then we hired a marketing coordinator. That's the next support staff employee that we hired, is the marketing coordinator. So we needed to make sure we're seen. So we have another full-time employee. We hired our field coordinator. Yeah, that was a lot. At that time, we have a lot of, we hired more people. That's the thing. It's the people. We couldn't have done it if not for our people.
The building of community is all where it's at,
Absolutely. Yeah. And we
right?
couldn't do it ourselves. We couldn't do it ourselves. It's like, again, when we got over ourselves and said, we're not the only one who can serve our clients. If we teach someone else how to serve the client and build the foundation, hire the right people, we share the same values. We care about the people. It's not about selling. It's not about being the number one. It's not about driving the nicest car. It's about making an impact in people's lives, being the solution, and having that caring approach and taking care of the people around you, and people can feel that. And it snowballed because we're not just chasing after the next sale. We're not chasing after the next listing. We're not chasing after the next buyer. Instead, we attracted them by being the caring people, by making just really telling people we want to make a positive impact in our lives. And we have to tell people that, because people won't know unless we tell them. And it's become part of who we are.
So it's interesting because the making the positive impact is more what it's about than anything. It's not about opening a door. It's about your systems and processes, and your core beliefs are what you build. You teach your team. So your team is able to replicate that to your clients. It's about Katrina's system, not about, Katrina specifically,
Yeah.
right? It's all the system. It's everything that you believe in, you put your heart and soul in, that you trained your people on, and your team on, so that
Mhm.
they can deliver that result, and the positive effect on the community and the families that you serve.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have the systems in place. We built the system. We've gone through different system, but whatever system that we use, it wouldn't be useful unless we use it. And those are tools. We have the necessary tools, and then we put the juice, the care of, like, the special care on our clients, and taking care of them, and always finding the solution, and always going beyond trying to break that limiting belief, and just say, no, I can't do this, I can't do that. No, why can't you do that? Like, what's the next thing? How can we improve it? What can we do? How can we plus one it? We learned that from one of our coaches. How can we plus one this? How could we have done better in taking care of our client? And we take extreme ownership. Like, what didn't go right there? And what is it that I personally could have done better to make that right, to make that better? And so not being attached to the results, instead of being like obsessed with the process, obsessed with the necessary things I need to do to get there, is what's going to be the difference maker.
So what is it? What do you mean by how do we plus one this?
So what could I have done better? Like, that's how do we plus one this? So, okay, when in this specific, like, say, let's just go about, like, in our business, what in marketing, in our marketing department, what can we do to just be one bit better, plus one, instead of like from 0 to 100. Let's just one step, just one tiny step. And if we do one tiny step every day, that's 360. I think I just heard that on your roll. It's 365 days. This line, right? It's the same thing.
That's right.
It's plus oneing it. So plus oneing it. What's the one small thing I need to do to improve? And every day, just do plus one, plus one. Then there you go, 365.
That's right. The value of the compound effect.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, if you put out that every single day, it's impossible not to get better. And if you do it over every single day, every single year, you're 15, 16, 17 years in the business. How could you not make an impact on somebody's life? How could you not, continue to get better and build things better? I heard you say, you had to get over yourselves. And I call that reinventing. I call it reinventing myself, because we all have had those reinventing of ourselves and our business and what that looks like. You try this, it doesn't work. You try that. The worst case scenario is that you give up. And if you don't ever, ever, ever give up, then you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose. I also share with people, you miss the shots you don't take.
That's right.
Right? I got that from a hockey thing. I'm not very sporty, so I try to use sports analogies, but I always fail. But that's from a sport. I think that's from Gretzky. So,
Yes. I think you're right.
yeah.
So wait, you're not a hockey fan? I thought all you Canadians were hockey fans.
I love watching them watch hockey. I'm not personally, as a person, I'm really not athletic. So I like watching, but I'm not as I'm not as crazy. I go with the bandwagon. If they're winning, we're good.
Oh, gotcha. Well, in Philadelphia, we're a bit crazy about our sports team. So
Yeah.
most people are diehard fans if they're football or hockey, or they're diehard Flyer fan or diehard Eagles fan.
Yeah.
We're the teams that threw the snowballs at Santa Claus. So craziness in Philadelphia, craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't partake in it, but I am a fan at heart. I grew up with sports around me, although I still couldn't tell you everything about the games. I'm just like, I'm trying to keep up with who's running, who's on the field, which way, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who got touchdown? Great, we got it.
Yeah, I got a basic understanding of what it is, and it's just, I mean, I do it for the social aspect of the sports.
Yes. I actually love attending the games.
Yeah.
That's always fun. I like, it's again, real estate, right? Because we might be there with some real estate people and clients or colleagues, or everything revolves pretty much around real estate. I, like you, it's the fabric of my life. Although I have to remind myself that I am not real estate, meaning I am energy. I am, well, this is the vessel, but that's nothing really to do with it either. I read something the other day, actually didn't read it. I was listening to a book, and in the book it said about how, we're all energy, and that our time here on earth is a vacation I
Yeah.
was like, this is a vacation. Well, I better start enjoying this vacation a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. I'm interested to continue to listen to this audiobook. And I usually am reading, but since I'm trying to get my steps in, so I'm walking around outside listening to the
What
audiobook.
is it called?
Hmm?
What is the audiobook called?
A Sales Velocity by Tom Ferry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, Katrina, it's really an interesting read or listen to, whatever. I
Hmm.
think I'm usually not like that taken back by, books but this
Hmm.
one is different. And I think you might enjoy it too.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always looking for ways to get better and looking for ways to improve, right? And that's the plus oneing, and that's compounding what I know now. And um, I find that that's what makes things better. Is just the excitement of what am I gonna do to make things better tomorrow.
I know it's exciting. I have like all these things that I want to do to be better and to make things more efficient. I don't know if you do you use notebooks? Like do you write things down in books or do you write things down? Oh yeah, so I have like all these different books.
Yeah.
One's like my daily, and I have a
Mhm.
marketing one, but it's such sometimes I write in the wrong book by accident because of the because wasn't very smart when I made the book for this year,
Yeah.
and I have the same colors. So I was talking. I've been wanting to get this book called not a book. It's called Remarkable.
Hmm. Oh,
And,
it's like an i tablet where you write down things. Yeah.
right, and then the things you write transcribe into text, into
Hmm.
words. So you
Hmm.
don't. It doesn't need to be retyped. You can have
Hmm.
all different folders on there.
Hmm.
And I'm getting it. I wanted to get this thing for a year.
Yeah.
Why have I not spent $500 on it? I don't know. I
Yeah.
went to order it 2 weeks ago on Amazon. I didn't order it. Why? Again, I don't know why I'm being held back by ordering Remarkable. But I'm ordering Remarkable today, and I'm going to text you and tell you that I ordered the Remarkable
Yeah.
because there's some accountability problem with the stupid Remarkable thing. I don't know if I think subconsciously I'm afraid to let go of the book
Yeah. Yeah.
because I have the $500, Katrina.
Yeah. It's not the $500.
It's
It's
not
the
the
letting go.
$500.
It's the
It's
letting go.
it's the letting go of
Yeah.
this is a limiting belief, right? This is I need this. I need the paper.
Hmm.
Something about it. And I
Hmm.
think that's our life. That's what our life is about.
Hmm.
Letting go, right? We started to talk in the beginning of our conversation about that. And so it's not just about, you know, it's about everything. It's about everything. I even just to let go of paper. Think
Hmm.
about that. That sounds ridiculous, right?
Hmm.
But it's the attachment that I have to this.
Yeah. And it's not letting go is what's holding you back, right? Not
Right?
letting go is what could be holding you back. And yeah, I'll hold you accountable to that, Maria.
Well,
You got
well,
it?
since now we're live and talking about it, and and people listen to this after the fact, right? They'll watch it because it's on video, but then later it gets into the podcast and it will be video. So I will by next week when I'm on. I think Sammy's on next week. I am going to talk about. I'm going to hopefully have that remarkable thing, and I'm going to show it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'll be using it by that point. But it's a big deal because I'm a note taker and I have boxes and boxes of notes.
Hmm. Yeah. I find that if I don't write it down, I don't remember. I need to be able to physically write it down. So,
Do you even remember, like, oh, I wrote this on this page and up in the right hand corner?
yeah,
Right.
I know it's there, or my note, my I actually have like little post-it notes as well. It's like, I know it has this color, and it's like, I'm forgetful, but if I write it down, I know. So I find that writing it down is part of my way of making sure that I'm on track.
Exactly. You're probably not forgetful. I'm going to guess you're not forgetful. I'm going to guess that you have so many things coming at you that from a capacity standpoint, you need to write it down so
Yeah.
nothing falls through the cracks.
Yes, I
Uh,
write the name down because I have to. I can't, like, somehow. Yeah, I have so much coming in.
so much coming in, right? So much coming in.
Yes.
So I know that. So today you sit at how many team members?
We have 16 licensed agents in our team, and we have 13 support staff.
Wow.
So
That's a good amount of support staff.
yes, we have 2 transaction coordinators, 2 field coordinators, 2 call coordinators. They handle the phones, so that's 6. And then we have 3 stagers, so that's 9. And then we have our 2 marketing coordinators. And then we have our leader in operations and leader of growth and development.
I didn't hear executive assistant for Katrina.
I tried. Well, we have Rose, she's we're training her to work on listings, and she's I call her my listing partner. And we work well together. I don't say she's my assistant, she's my partner. I actually tried to have an executive assistant, a personal assistant. Well, to me it's the same thing. It drove me crazy. I can't have it. I don't like being asked questions. And so I said, I can't, like, it's too, I need my space. And so I think as a team, we just connect together every day. But I don't have an exec. I tried. I think, I don't know if it's a limiting belief or something, but I'm very independent. So I still need my space. But the whole team together, as a team, we work well.
Well, the only reason I say that is because I know that it's hard to let go. Do you answer your own emails?
Well, Neil gets mad at me because I have like 5 different emails. It's like, why do you need 5 different emails? Well, I said 4 of them goes to the team, and 1 of them I have because I need that for my banking, for my stuff. Even that I'm okay with. But yeah, I answer my emails. Yes, I even answer like Facebook. Like, people get surprised when they message on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and I'm the one answering. I still need to let that go.
Yeah, that's okay. I wrote a little list yesterday of things that I want to not do anymore. And by I'm going to say the end of June, I'm not going to do them anymore. No answer emails. No doing my own comps. No financials, no bills, no dialing of the phone. No going to the printer ever.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do any of those things. I want to do the training, the leading, the client meetings that make sense for me. The podcast, the more time to build relationships with people. I have all these wonderful podcasts, and then I haven't talked to some people in 6 months or 8 months because I'm answering emails and not building the relationship with Katrina. So I can't do it all. And I'm going to find a way to not do any of that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we need to let go so then we can do the things that we need to say yes to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And will that these things, by the way, will not be an easy thing to not do.
Mhm.
Uh, some of them will not be easy, but
Yeah.
I do believe that if I let go of these, I'll be able to do the most important things for my company. And that, as a leader and an owner of this company, I'm required to do.
Hmm.
So I need to take to I say put my big girl panties on and
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the hardest part is letting go. And I think part of letting go is getting over ourselves and just trusting that other people can do it too.
100%. But that's where it is. It's that trust because it's hard when you've trusted and you've been disappointed and you've trusted and you've been disappointed. But you got to continue to build trust with the people that are in your that surround you that are in your company because if not then they're never going to be able to do their job. And then you just come full circle again and you're in the cycle. You got to
You're
break the
stuck. Yeah.
cycle.
Yeah. You're going to get stuck. And that's letting go. I mean, that's why I was up till midnight because I was still working and working. And, like, it's like, oh, if I don't, like, they're going to make a mistake and this and that. But I have to accept that I also make mistake and it's a progression. And we just have to trust and be patient and be there for them when that knowing that whatever happens they can make a mistake but we always find a solution and making sure that we make it better.
That's right. All about being the solution. Katrina, you are fabulous. Thank you so much for taking the time and getting up super early. And it's 5:30. It was 5:30 now. It's 6:40 your time.
Yeah.
So, gosh, you got this all in before the days even started. So,
Yes.
I I'm grateful and thankful for you being on the podcast today, Be the Solution. And I wish you and Neil and the team continued success. And I can't wait to see you once the borders open for you guys and we see you again in person. So,
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I have learned more about myself actually, just like, oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, I forgot about that. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your generosity for bringing me on here.
excellent. Thanks again. You're welcome. And I will see you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.